Hi everybody, Mr. Cannon back again with your next senior project screencast. This week we're talking about research, which is a really important aspect of senior project, and it's much more condensed now than it ever has been before. So the first question, what is research? You should know that already. But in the context of senior project, you think about your senior project as an application of knowledge and essential question and sub-EQs that need to be answered. And presumably, in order to do a good senior project that pushes your comfortable limits, you'll need to learn something new. So how are you going to learn that than by doing it? The truth is you're going to have to do some research. And so what does that mean? The student needs to learn about the topic of their project in order to complete their AOK and become an expert on his or her topic. And when we get to presentations and the audience comes in to watch your senior project presentation, they're going to look for you to have learned something. So that's the stuff you're going to share. There's really two key important things when it comes to research. Number one is making sure that the requirements are met. And the other part is making sure that everything is formatted correctly. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the requirements. I'm going to throw some numbers at you, so pay close attention. You need six total sources that you have to find related to your senior project that you use. Of those six sources, they have to be 4 different types. Now, in this day and age, it's very easy to find everything you think you need to know on the internet. And while you can certainly use the internet, for all 6 sources, we don't want them all to be just informational websites. So we're actually compelling you to do 4 different types. And I'm going to give you a list of what we mean by different types in a few more minutes. Okay, so just hang tight on that. And one source that you must use is the online databases from the BHS library, which year in and year out, we believe is an underutilized resource. And so if senior project is the only time that you ever use the online database at Bedford High School, well, then that's what it's going to be. So one of those sources must be from the BHS website. All right, the different sources to use. So this is what we mean by different sources. Obviously, online database, an interview. That's a great idea for a source. We used to require people to do interviews. Now we don't necessarily, but an interview of an expert, maybe your outside expert, is a good idea for research. A video that you might find on YouTube or a DVD, certainly the internet, and by that we mean an informational website. Obviously, we want to make sure that it's high quality and reliable website. Books, oh my God, books. Books are amazing. You should use them. Encyclopedia, a current event, maybe from a newspaper, a magazine, periodical if it's a more academic subject and it might be an academic journal out there, social media as a source, audio as a source, and the list really goes on. So again, 6 total, 4 different types within those 6. And one of them must be this guy, the online database. So that's the first part of it. The next part is to then take the research that you've learned and package it in some sort of format that you can put on your SPOP. And for that, you're going to create something called an annotated bibliography. So what is that? What is an annotated bibliography? Well, here's the answer, right? Here's the answer. An annotated bibliography is where you describe the information learned, the reliability of the source, and how you will use it. For this assignment, you are going to do this on a Google Doc, which you will then later embed on the research page of your SPOP. And that's really important because some of the formatting things that you're going to have to do are easier done in a Google Doc than it is sort of on the web page itself. So let's talk about format a little bit. An annotated bibliography is a thing. It's like a real thing. We didn't invent it. Colleges and universities require students to create annotated bibliographies to show their research all the time. And MLA has a format for it, and that's the format that we are using. If you have any questions about the format, certainly you can look at this page, right? Every citation is in alphabetical order, and then each paragraph has specific requirements in it. There's also on the research assignment requirements, as well as the rubric, sort of an explanation of these. If after all of those things, you still are unsure exactly how to format it, you can always go to the online writing lab or OWL at Purdue in order to get that format correct. So for our assignment, the first paragraph summarizes the source and what you learned from it. So think of this as content. Second paragraph evaluates the source. Is it reliable? Why or why not? So this is more analysis and commentary. And then the third puts it into practice, or the application piece. Like, how are you going to use this research in your project? So one paragraph for each of these things for each source. Okay, so 6 sources. Each one has to have all 3 paragraphs plus the MLA citation properly formatted and all 6 sources in alphabetical order. One question that comes up a lot, and I know I'm on this slide for a while, is where does the actual research go? Right? Like, do I need to take notes on this stuff? Where do those notes go? The bottom line is this: a good annotated bibliography is proof of learning, is proof of research. But the content of what you learn should be in this first paragraph, okay? Just for clarity's sake. Your research needs to be done by the end of quarter 2. All of the research done at once at the end of quarter 2. We used to stretch it out. That created some formatting problems. So it's all being done in quarter 2. It's a really good idea to start thinking about this and getting a jump on it early, all right? Make sure you take a close look at that rubric. The rubric is really important because students have failed this assignment or been found not competent for this assignment by little things, formatting things. And while some mentors are real sticklers for this and others aren't, the truth in the bottom line here is that it is up to you to make sure this is done and to make sure that it is done right. And all of the information you need in order to do that is available to you online through the senior project website and other websites such as the OWL at Purdue. So, all that said, if you still have questions, you can certainly ask your senior project mentor. You can go to, as I said, the online writing lab of the OWL at Purdue for help. The senior project study hall room is always available 4 blocks a day, every day of the week for help. Or you could ask me, Mr. Cannon, signing off on the Research Screencast.